For more tips on how to improve your videos, click the link in the description below. And now back to this video. VAR, what a contentious topic. We all love to hate it. Well, some of us do. Some of you absolutely adore it, can't get enough of it. But either way, whether you're team yes or team no, there's no denying that VAR has changed the beautiful game forever. Love it or hate it, it's here to stay. So today we thought we'd run through some of the best and worst examples of VAR in action before asking you, our esteemed viewers, which team you're on. Are you team VAR or no VAR? Before we get into it, a quick recap on what VAR actually stands for. You already know, come on, don't play coy with me. Okay, if you didn't, VAR stands for Video Assistance Referee. In simple terms, VAR allows referees to check the footage's replays from multiple angles to see if they got a decision wrong. Basically, it helps them ensure they get things right. Now that we're all on the same page, let's start with one of the most famous VAR moments in history, shall we? Cue the iconic footage of England's Harry Kane tumbling under a challenge from Belgium's Jan Vertonghen during the group stage of World Cup 2018. After much deliberation and an agonizing wait, Kane was awarded the penalty and England took the lead. The Three Lions would go on to win the match 1-0, eventually finishing third after a nail-biting semi-final with Croatia. Now, if you're team VAR, you'll say this was a clear example of the technology working as intended, allowing the referee to award England a spot kick they deserved. On the other hand, if you're team no VAR, well, you'll probably still be fuming about this one. Let us know where you stand in the comments section below. Did you know that according to FIFA, the average time for a VAR review is just over 2 minutes? That equates to around 2.12 minutes to be precise. However, the longest VAR review in the history of football lasted a staggering 3 minutes and 42 seconds. This record was set in September 2022 during a World Cup qualifier between the Central African Republic and Nigeria. Anyway, moving swiftly on, let's talk about some more positive football moments that were corrected thanks to VAR. Did you know that since its introduction, VAR has helped correct decisions in around 94% of cases? What's more, a study carried out by Connexon and CIES Football Observatory found that 98% of offsides and 96% of out-of-bounds calls were being made correctly with the help of VAR. Put simply, this means that VAR is helping referees get things right far more often than not. Now, these stats are music to the ears of Team Yes, but Team No, you might want to avert your gaze. Oh, and if you haven't guessed by now, these stats are taken from a pro-VAR article written by FIFA themselves, so take them with a grain of salt if you're not already knee-deep in it. Next up, we're going to flag a few of the countries whose teams have benefited from VAR, and as a result, their fans are unlikely to be part of Team No VAR. Egypt, for example, progressed to the knockout stages of the 2018 World Cup thanks to a last-gasp VAR decision. In their final Group A fixture against Saudi Arabia, Mohamed Salah's side were awarded a stoppage-time penalty after a lengthy review for a handball offence against the Saudis. Egypt went on to win the match 2-1 and subsequently reached the last 16, where they faced eventual winners France. As for the Pharaohs, well, they came up against a brick wall in the form of Hugo Lloris and company, losing 2-1 once again. Another country who have benefited from VAR is France. During the 2018-19 UEFA Nations League final, Les Bleus faced Portugal in a repeat of Euro 2016. Once again, it was tight throughout, with neither side able to break the deadlock in normal time. However, in the 117th minute, VAR awarded France a penalty for a handball offence by Portugal's Pepe. Up stepped talismanic captain Antoine Griezmann to convert from 12 yards out and secure a 1-0 victory. Not bad. And how could we talk about VAR without mentioning the Professional Game Match Officials Limited, otherwise known as PGMOL? It's thanks to the efforts of PGMOL and the introduction of the infamous MOL line that several Premier League goals have been chalked off in recent times. In fact, the 2022-23 Premier League season had the highest number of overturned goals due to VAR since its inception, with 7 in total. Tottenham Hotspur were particularly unfortunate, having 3 goals ruled out by VAR against Liverpool alone. If you've been living under a rock, let me catch you up. In the first half of their Premier League encounter at Anfield in January, Spurs had a goal ruled out by VAR for an offside position in the build-up. They also had another goal disallowed in the second half for a similar reason, only this time it was because of a matter of millimetres. In the end, the Reds ran out 2-0 winners, leaving Ange Postecoglou's men empty-handed. And then there's this. With 10 men and deep into stoppage time, Tottenham looked to have salvaged a point through Richarlison's acrobatic effort. But VAR ruled the goal out for a foul on Alisson by man of the match Pedro Porro. Whether you love it or loathe it, it's hard to argue that all 3 decisions were incorrect. If you think this is bad, though, brace yourself because it gets worse. Who could forget Tottenham's trip to Manchester City in May? The title race was going down to the wire with both sides separated by just 1 point at kick-off. The citizens went ahead early on through a penalty from the prolific Erling Haaland. However, shortly after, Spurs were awarded a spot kick of their own. Up stepped Harry Kane to convert and level proceedings. Unfortunately for the visitors, they were pegged back once again as Bernardo Silva restored City's lead midway through the second half. Then out of nowhere, Tottenham were awarded a second penalty, again after a VAR review. One thing you have to commend Team Yes for is their ability to find positives in every situation. Take the following statement from former Premier League referee Mark Halsey. In his eyes, VAR is good for football as long as it's used in the right way. Citing the 2019 Champions League final between Liverpool and Tottenham, Halsey said that VAR had helped get the big decisions right. He added that VAR should only be used for clear and obvious errors. When it comes to the middle ground, it's impossible not to mention one of the most famous VAR incidents in recent times. Back in February 2023, Newcastle United welcomed Manchester City to St James's Park for a Premier League showdown. The scores were locked at 3-3 as the clock ticked towards full time. In the 85th minute, Jack Grealish appeared to handle the ball in the box, but referee Jared Gillett was unsighted. Fortunately, VAR was on hand to take a look, and after a brief review, a penalty was awarded to the Magpies. Super sub Alexander Isak stepped up to send Ederson the wrong way and secure all 3 points for Eddie Howe's men. While this was undoubtedly a good use of VAR, the same couldn't be said for the previous incident. For context, earlier in the match, İlkay Gundogan had given the visitors an early lead with a stunning long-range strike. However, after reviewing the footage, it became apparent that the ball had struck the arm of Kevin De Bruyne in the build-up, with the midfielder deemed to be in an unnatural position. At the time, the goal stood, meaning the reigning champions went in ahead at the break. Nonetheless, when VAR intervened, the goal was rightly ruled out. To round off today's video, let's talk about the use of VAR in other sports. In the NFL, for example, coaches can challenge certain decisions made by officials, such as whether a player is in or out of bounds. If the challenge is successful, the decision is overturned. However, if the challenge is unsuccessful, the team loses a timeout. In rugby union, meanwhile, the TMO, or television match official, is responsible for reviewing footage of certain incidents, such as tries or potential foul play. The TMO's decision is final and binding on the on-field referee. Finally, in the NBA, instant replay is used to review close calls in real time. Unlike in football, though, the decision of the on-court officials is final. So where does this leave us? Well, it's clear that VAR is here to stay. Love it or hate it, it's now an integral part of the game. But the question is, how do we strike the right balance between emotion and justice? For some, the beautiful game is all about the passion and drama. The last thing we need is for VAR to come in and take away those emotional moments. However, others argue that VAR helps to ensure that the right decisions are made, even if it means that the game is less flowing and more stop-start. Ultimately, it's up to each individual fan to decide where they stand. Are you team VAR or no VAR? Let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. Do you like this video? Well, if you're looking for more tips on how to improve your videos, then why not check out the video linked below. Thanks.